Hi everyone, my name is Scott and I'm a runner. Welcome to the Run Scotty Run YouTube channel. So today I just wanted to talk about my selection rotation of running socks. One of the very first videos that I shot was about my running shoe rotation. I'll have that link down below if you're interested, so you can have some reference to some of the shoes that I talk about. I primarily run, just briefly, I primarily run in Asics Cumulus or Nimbus, depending on what price I can get them for when they're on sale. In 2E or 4E. 2E, normally that's pretty much my daily trainer, and then the 4E I use lots of times if my feet are sore or to recover after a particularly long run or a hard effort. And I also run in the New Balance 880 shoes as well in 2E width. Now, I found over the years that even within the same brand of shoes, sometimes, one particular model one year, a 2E may be a little bit wider than another year. So having a different selection of socks, primarily from a standpoint of thickness and material. I'm going to talk about some brands that I found that work for me and models, but it's not necessarily that I'm totally loyal to those. It's mostly about the thickness and the material of the socks. In my running experience, back in the dark ages, 40 plus years ago when I started running, I don't even know if there was any such thing as a dedicated running sock company. I was mostly running in whatever sport socks I could get at the sports store or at whatever store, and they were mostly like some sort of cotton blend or wool blend or whatever. And over the years, I've probably had more discomfort in my feet, hot spots, blisters, that sort of thing from wearing the wrong socks with the right shoes or vice versa, I guess. So that's kind of why I just wanted to talk about this, just to share some experience and maybe some ideas if you're struggling with maybe how your shoes feel on your feet. Sometimes just changing socks to a different thickness or different material might clear up some issues. But again, these are all things that work for me, and I'm not affiliated with any of these brands or any distributors. So they're just, what's worked for me over many years. So, how do you figure it out? I mean, new running socks are not cheap. Most of the ones that I have purchased in the last several years are all, around $20. I've seen them even more expensive. And the selection out there is can be kind of overwhelming nowadays. There's probably more different running socks and running sock companies around than almost running shoe companies. There's a lot of variety. If you have some running socks currently and you're going to try a different model or style of shoe, I normally have found taking my own socks to a running shoe store, all the different thicknesses, and trying the shoes on with those socks has helped. If I'm switching to a new model, whenever I switch to a new type, in my shoe video, I've been wearing the exact same shoes for many years, so I don't, I buy most of my shoes online. But also most good local running shoe stores. Now, it's been quite a while since I've been in one, so I can't attest, since the pandemic, if they will allow you to do that. But many of them, they'll have a box of socks, different types of socks, if you don't mind putting socks on that other people have had on their feet. But, you can try out different thicknesses of socks when you try on a pair of running shoes, to try and match them properly, because sometimes if you wear socks, or from my experience anyway, if I've worn socks that are too thick, I end up, the socks can bunch up or almost cut off the circulation in my feet if they're too tight, too snug inside the shoe, cause blisters. And then if I wear socks that are too thin, my foot's moving around quite a bit, and that normally just causes abrasion, hot spots, blisters, and discomfort. So anyway, let's get right into it. So starting off, I run I have some sort of thin socks. These have not actually been available for many, many years. I'm glad I bought several pairs of them. These are called the Adidas 4Motion. They're you know, anatomically correct, I guess, if you want. They come in left and right. They're not so much as what they used to be. When I originally got them, they've stretched. I've had some pairs literally for 7 or 8 years, but they're still very, very durable. I think they're 100% synthetic. I don't know if there's any natural fibers in them, but they work super well. I tend to like they call them no-show, but they come up sort of sometimes just maybe over my ankle. But these work really well. I find in the 2E Asics shoes, these, even though 2E are supposed to be wider, but these are what work well for me. And also, I've tried, these are Nike Elite sock. I used to get these from Kintec Footwear in the lower mainland of BC, but they don't seem to be on their website anymore. But these are very similar. They're mostly all synthetic, and they work really well. These are Nike Elite Pro or something. They had some really long name, but anyway, they're a fairly thin and mostly synthetic sock. So those have worked really, really well again in the 2E Asics shoes that I wear. So those work really well. And like I said, it's too bad. I Googled actually Adidas 4Motion socks to see if they still make them. And the 4Motion socks they make now, the results I got were like long calf, almost like up to your knee, more of I think like a soccer or football sock. But anyway, these, luckily I bought a bunch of them on sale over time, and like I said, incredible that I've had these the last 7 or 8 years, some of them. So I also wear kind of a mid thickness. These are called, I'm just going to refer to some notes. These are called the Balega, B-A-L-E-G-A. I think that's how you pronounce it, Balega. Ultralight no-shows. And these, I think, do have some natural fiber in them. I'll have a link down below where I get them from Amazon Canada, so you can find more of the specs and tech details on them. Again, these ones come in, sort of anatomically correct, left and right. Oops, I had them in the wrong hands, left and right. And they also come in some really cool colors too. That's the other thing about modern running socks now. You can get them in just about any color that you want. So these work really well. I wear these in my actually in my Asics 4E. They seem to be the perfect thickness for that. So yeah, those work really well. So Balega ultralight no-shows. And then the thickest socks that I wear, these are called the Balega Silver no-show compression. Again, these come in all kinds of different colors. These are maybe, I would say, a couple of millimeters maybe thicker than these Balegas. So they're a little bit more cushy as well. These work super well with the New Balance 880 shoes that I run in that are like a 2E width. They are a wider 2E than the Asics. I don't really know. It's, as those of us who have been around for a while, it is so frustrating that there's no standardization in shoe widths and clothing sizes. Anyway, I could go on that rant especially for those of us that are bigger people. How frustrating it is. So these work really well. These are the Balega Silver no-show compression socks. So there you go, folks. So like I said, the main point I guess I'm trying to make is I have like sort of 3 different thicknesses, and I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference in the thicknesses. Maybe, between the thin, the medium, and the thick, there's, it may be like a 2 or 3 millimeter difference in thickness. But, sometimes that can make or break the comfort that I have between my feet and my shoes. So You know, if you find you're having some issues, maybe sometimes, you know, especially with the price of running shoes these days, maybe, you know, just experiment with a different pair, different thickness of socks. Because even, you know, a $20 pair of socks is still cheaper than, you know, 160 plus pair of running shoes. So yeah, so I'll have links to the Balega socks. I buy both those brands, or both those different thicknesses on Amazon Canada, and you know, you can shop around, or like I said, try different, if you know your local running shoe store sorry, will allow you, you know, maybe you can try different thicknesses of socks on when you're buying a new pair of running shoes, or you know, take your own socks to the running shoe store, which I think is always a good idea anyway, so that, you know, you have the socks that you're going to wear in the shoes that you're buying. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. You know, if you have any comments or experiences on different running socks that you like, or whatever, please don't hesitate, sorry, to leave your comments down below, and let me know what your experiences are. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you like the content, please consider clicking the like button down below. And if you are interested in following along on my running journey as a bigger, older runner, please consider subscribing. Remember, no matter how old you are, how big you are, your shape, your size, how far you run or how fast you run, if you run, you are a runner. So I wish you all the best in your future running adventures, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thank you very much. Take care.